The $15,000 diamond bracelet hit the wall 6 inches from my head and shattered into pieces. "That's what real money looks like," my wife screamed, her face twisted with rage. "He drops 15 grand without thinking. When have you ever done that for me?" I calmly walked over, picked up the largest piece, and held it up to the light. "You know what's interesting about this bracelet, Jessica?" My voice was ice. "It's purchased with drug money. Your boyfriend Marcus Castellano. The DEA's been building a federal case against him for 18 months. Cocaine. Fentanyl. Money laundering." She went pale. Started shaking. You're lying." I pulled out my phone and showed her the federal case file. Her hands flew to her mouth. 72 hours later, federal agents kicked down his penthouse door at dawn. Found him in bed. Found her in bed with him. Both arrested. Both charged. Both facing decades in federal prison. This is the story of how my wife bragged that her affair partner was wealthier than me, until I proved his wealth was blood money and handed them both to the feds. Let me back up 6 months. My name is David, I'm 34 years old, and I run a cybersecurity consulting firm. I built it from nothing, sleeping in my office, living on ramen, turning down shady clients who wanted me to do illegal work. By the time I was 30, I was making $280,000 a year. Good money. Not rich, but comfortable. I married Jessica 8 years ago when we were both in college. She came from a middle-class family, seemed grounded, claimed she valued hard work over everything. I thought we wanted the same things. A good life built on integrity. I was wrong. About 6 months before that bracelet hit the wall, things started changing. She'd come home with a Cartier watch worth $12,000. "Got it on sale," she said. Then a Hermes Birkin bag, $18,000 retail. Pre-owned from a consignment shop, she claimed. Diamond earrings, $8,000. "You bought these for our anniversary, remember?" I didn't. I never bought them. Her closet started looking like a luxury boutique. Designer everything. Louboutin heels. Chanel bags. Gucci, Prada, Versace. And the attitude that came with it. She started making comments. Little digs about my income. Sarah's husband just bought her a Mercedes. Or, when are we going to upgrade the house? Or my personal favorite, maybe if you took bigger risks with your business, we'd have real money. Real money. Like what I made wasn't enough. Like the $550,000 house, the nice cars, the vacations weren't real. She stopped asking about my work. Stopped caring about the company I'd built with my bare hands. She was out 4, sometimes 5 nights a week. Girls' dinner. Book club. Yoga class. Always with an excuse. Always with her phone face down. Always showering the moment she got home. Then came the package. It was 10:30 at night. A luxury courier service pulled up to our house. I signed for it because she wasn't home. Again. The box was Tiffany blue. Inside was a diamond tennis bracelet that made my stomach drop. I looked up the style online. $15,000. The card inside said, "Until next time, beautiful. M." Just the letter M. I sat in the dark living room with that bracelet on the coffee table and waited. She came home at 1 a.m. Dressed in a cocktail dress I'd never seen, reeking of expensive cologne. She said she'd been at Kelly's bachelorette party. She walked into the living room. I turned on the lights. She saw me sitting there. Saw the bracelet. Her face went through every emotion in 3 seconds. Shock. Fear. Defensiveness. Then anger. "Why are you going through my things?" she demanded. "It was delivered here. I signed for it." "Who is M?" I asked. She laughed. Actually laughed. "You're so paranoid. It's from my mother. Your mother signs cards and sends jewelry at midnight?" I stood up. "Who is he?" She rolled her eyes like I was the problem. Like I was being unreasonable for questioning a $15,000 bracelet from a stranger. "You really want to know?" she said, her voice dripping with contempt. "Fine. His name is Marcus. Marcus Castellano. What does he do?" I asked, my jaw clenched. "He's successful. Real success. Not your middle-class tech nerd bullshit." "Are you sleeping with him?" The question hung in the air. She didn't even hesitate. "Yes." One word. 8 months of lies in one word. "How long?" I asked. "Does it matter?" she shot back. "How long, Jessica?" 8 months. 8 months. 2/3 of a year. Every dinner with the girls. Every late night. Every shower the second she walked in the door. All of it. Lies. "So what does this Marcus do that I don't?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. That's when she really let me have it. "He treats me like I deserve. This bracelet." He didn't even blink. "You know what your biggest purchase for me was?" "A $2,000 handbag." $2,000. He gave me this. She held up the Birkin bag, without me even asking. Penthouses. Private jets. Real restaurants, not your "let's save for the business" garbage. He's wealthier than you'll ever be. That's just reality. I stood there, feeling like I'd been punched in the chest. But I didn't yell. Didn't throw anything. I just looked at her and said, "So you're with me for money. And since I don't have enough, you found someone who does. Maybe if you actually made something of yourself, I wouldn't need to look elsewhere," she said. That was it. I walked out. Went to the guest room. Locked the door. She pounded on it for 20 minutes, screaming. I didn't care. I was done arguing. Time to investigate. At 3 a.m., I couldn't sleep. So I did what I do best. I started digging. I'm a cybersecurity expert. I know how to find information people don't want found. I started with Google. Marcus Castellano. Found a LinkedIn profile. Import, export business. Company called Castellano International Trading. Claims to distribute luxury goods. Office in a downtown high-rise. But here's the thing. For a guy supposedly making the kind of money to drop $15,000 on jewelry without thinking, his online presence was almost non-existent. No interviews. No press. No charitable work. No social media presence beyond a private Instagram. That's red flag number 1. I dug deeper. Ran background checks on him through databases I have access to for client work. Found dissolved companies in his past. Found associates with criminal records. Drug charges. Weapons charges. Money laundering. This wasn't a successful businessman. This was something else. I spent the next 4 hours going through corporate filings, property records, FAA aircraft registrations. The guy had multiple LLCs, shell companies, properties in cash-only transactions. Classic money laundering structure. Then I went to places I probably shouldn't have. Dark web forums. Encrypted chat rooms I monitor for client security research. Started searching for references to MC, Marcus Castellano, his company name. Found mentions. Code words. References to product, shipments, distribution. The pieces started coming together. This guy wasn't importing luxury goods. He was importing drugs. And my wife was sleeping with him. By 7 a.m., I'd made a decision. I wasn't just filing for divorce. I was taking him down. And if she got caught in the crossfire, so be it. I called a private investigator, former FBI, the best in the business. Paid him a $10,000 retainer. Told him everything. Gave him Marcus's information. Said, I need proof of illegal activity. I need it fast. Money is no object. 3 days later, the PI called. David, you need to sit down for this. He'd confirmed the affair. Jessica was meeting Marcus 3 to 4 times a week at his penthouse. A $3.5 million condo downtown. She'd been on 6 trips with him in 8 months. Miami, Cabo, Turks and Caicos. All the classic drug route destinations. But the real bombshell was the warehouse. The PI had followed Marcus's employees to an industrial warehouse registered to a shell company. Late-night deliveries. Armed security. Blacked-out SUVs with no plates. Activity every 4 to 5 days, always after midnight. There's more, the PI said. I have a contact at the DEA. I showed him what we found. They've been investigating Marcus Castellano for 18 months. He's a major cocaine and fentanyl distributor. They estimate his operation moves over $100 million a year. I felt my blood go cold. My wife wasn't just cheating on me with a rich guy. She was sleeping with a major drug trafficker. The DEA wants to talk to you, the PI continued. They think you might be able to help them. I met with Special Agent Rodriguez and his team 2 days later. Walked into the DEA field office and laid it all out. My wife is having an affair with Marcus Castellano. I'm a cybersecurity expert. I have access to digital evidence you might find useful. Rodriguez leaned forward. What kind of access? My wife's devices. Cloud accounts. Communication records. And with the right legal authorization, I can get into his systems. Rodriguez looked at his team, then back at me. Why are you doing this? I didn't hesitate. Because he's sleeping with my wife. And because drug traffickers belong in prison. They offered me a deal. I'd work as a confidential informant. Full immunity for any hacking, as long as it was under their supervision. I'd provide digital evidence. They'd build the case. Timeline. 30 to 45 days until arrest. For the next month, I lived a double life. At home, I barely spoke to Jessica. She thought I was just heard about the affair. She had no idea I was working with federal agents to destroy her boyfriend. She'd leave her laptop at home sometimes. I'd install monitoring software. Gained access to her messages with Marcus. Found the encrypted app they used to communicate. Used my expertise to break the encryption. That's when I found the smoking gun. Messages about shipments. Discussions of quantities and prices. Her asking about the product and when the next delivery was coming. Him sending her instructions on cash pickups. She wasn't just sleeping with a drug dealer. She was involved. Maybe not deeply, but enough. There were photos too. Her at the warehouse, posing next to those blacked-out SUVs. Her on his yacht with stacks of cash visible in the background. Her wearing jewelry at meetings with men who looked like they'd kill you for looking at them wrong. I found financial records. Cash deposits into her personal account. $45,000 over 6 months. The source. Consulting fees from Castellano International Trading. She was literally on his payroll. Whether she knew exactly what she was consulting on didn't matter. She was benefiting from criminal proceeds. That's money laundering. That's a federal crime. I handed everything to the DEA. But I didn't stop there. I used the access Jessica had given me, passwords she'd shared back when she trusted me, to get into Marcus's personal systems. Found his real books. 15 shell companies. Offshore accounts in the Caymans, Panama, Switzerland. Over $127 million in drug proceeds moved over 3 years. Found his supplier contacts. His distribution network. Names, addresses, phone numbers. I mapped his entire operation and gave it to the feds on a silver platter. Agent Rodriguez called me on a Tuesday afternoon. "David, you just gave us everything we need. We're moving in 1 week. I want you in our command center when it goes down. You've earned that." 1 week. 7 days until Jessica's entire world imploded. I spent that week pretending everything was normal. She'd come home late. I'd be in my office. She thought I was just working. I was watching federal agents plan the raid that would destroy her life. The night before the raid, she actually tried to talk to me. Came into my office around 11 p.m. "David, I know things have been bad between us. Maybe we should talk. Maybe we can work through this." I looked up from my computer where I was reviewing the raid plan the DEA had sent me. "Work through what, Jessica? You cheating on me with a guy who gives you $15,000 bracelets?" She sighed like I was being difficult. "He makes me feel valued. Appreciated. When's the last time you made me feel special?" I saved the document I was working on and closed my laptop. Looked her right in the eyes. "You're right. I should have made you feel more special. I should have bought you a $15,000 bracelet with cocaine money. I should have taken you on his private jet that's registered to a shell company and used to transport narcotics across international borders. My mistake. I was too busy building a legitimate business and making honest money." Her eyes narrowed. "What are you talking about?" "Nothing," I said. "You should go to bed. Big day tomorrow." She left confused. I sat there with my heart pounding. Less than 8 hours until the raid. I barely slept. At 5 a.m., my phone buzzed. A text from Rodriguez, "Moving in 45 minutes. Command center is ready for you." I got dressed quietly. Left the house while Jessica was still asleep. Drove to the DEA field office. They had a whole command center set up. Multiple screens showing live feeds from surveillance teams. Over 100 federal agents involved. Simultaneous raids on the warehouse, his penthouse, his office, and 3 stash houses across the city. At 5:47 a.m., the warehouse team breached. I watched on the monitors as SWAT flooded in. The place was a drug supermarket. 200 kilos of cocaine. 50 kilos of fentanyl. Enough to kill millions of people. $4 million in cash, just sitting there in duffel bags. Weapons everywhere. AR-15s, handguns, enough ammunition to start a war. 12 people arrested on the spot. But Marcus wasn't there. He was at the penthouse. With my wife. At 6:03 a.m., the penthouse team moved in. I watched the feed. Federal agents in full tactical gear breaching a $3.5 million condo. They found Marcus in the master bedroom. And right there next to him, in his bed, was Jessica. I heard her scream through the audio feed. A sound I'll never forget. Pure terror. She knew in that instant that her life was over. "Marcus Castellano, you're under arrest for drug trafficking, money laundering, and racketeering," I heard the lead agent say. "Jessica Hartwell, you're under arrest for conspiracy to distribute narcotics and money laundering." "I didn't do anything," she screamed. "I didn't know what he did. I'm innocent." The agent read her rights while she sobbed. Meanwhile, Marcus just sat there, handcuffed, his face pale. He knew he was done. They brought them both out in handcuffs. The DEA had tipped off the media. News helicopters were already circling. Cameras everywhere. Marcus in a DEA jacket, looking like he'd aged 10 years in 10 minutes. Jessica in designer pajamas, mascara running down her face, screaming that this was a mistake. The morning news would have a field day. Agent Rodriguez turned to me in the command center. "We couldn't have done this without you. You just took down one of the biggest drug operations we've seen in 5 years." I nodded, but I didn't feel victorious yet. I felt numb. Watching your wife get arrested on federal drug charges, even when she deserves it, is surreal. The news coverage started immediately. Major drug trafficking ring busted. Alleged kingpin Marcus Castellano arrested along with female associate. By 8 a.m., Jessica's name was public. Her photo, her mugshot, on every news site. Headlines: local woman arrested in major drug bust. Her face plastered everywhere. Her parents called me at 9 a.m. Her mother was hysterical. "David, what's happening? Jessica's been arrested? This has to be a mistake." I explained calmly. "She's been having an affair with Marcus Castellano for 8 months. He's a drug trafficker. The DEA arrested them both this morning. She was in his bed when they raided his penthouse." Silence on the other end. Then her father's voice, cold and hard. "How long have you known?" "Long enough to help the DEA build their case," I said. "She made her choices." He hung up. Within hours, Jessica's entire life imploded. Her employer, a marketing firm, fired her immediately. Can't have an employee arrested on federal drug charges. Her social media was flooded with comments. Friends and acquaintances distancing themselves. Her college alumni group removed her from their directory. Our church, where her parents were prominent members, asked her family to handle this privately. Code 4, "You're embarrassing us, go away." The federal charges were devastating. Jessica was looking at conspiracy to distribute narcotics, money laundering, and accepting proceeds from illegal activity. Her public defender, because she couldn't afford a private attorney, told her she was facing 15 to 25 years if convicted. She couldn't make bail. It was set at $500,000. She sat in federal detention while awaiting trial. Marcus's charges were even worse. Life without parole on the table. I filed for divorce while she was in jail. Cited adultery. Attached the affair evidence, the financial records showing cash deposits from his company, photos of her at the warehouse, text messages discussing shipments. My attorney argued she dissipated marital assets by accepting $200,000 worth of gifts and cash from a criminal enterprise during our marriage. I wanted every penny back, and I wanted her to pay for it. She tried to contact me from jail. One phone call. I declined it. A letter came through her attorney. Pages of desperation. I didn't know what he really did. I thought he was just a successful businessman. "Please, I need bail money. I need help. We can work through this." I forwarded the letter to my attorney with one instruction, no response. 3 weeks later, she tried again. Another letter. I made a terrible mistake. He lied to me. "You were right about everything. Please, David, I'm begging you." I wrote back through my attorney. One sentence, "You said he was wealthier than I'd ever be. I hope his wealth keeps you company in federal prison." That was the last communication we had. The trial took 8 months. Marcus was convicted on 47 counts. Life in federal prison without possibility of parole. All his assets, every penny of that $127 million, seized by the federal government. The properties, the cars, the yacht, the private jet. Gone. Auctioned off. He'd die in prison with nothing. Jessica's trial was shorter. The prosecution had overwhelming evidence. Those text messages I'd decrypted. The photos. The financial records. Her own words, "Your business is so exciting," sent to a drug trafficker. Her defense tried to argue she didn't know about the drugs. The jury didn't buy it. Guilty on 8 counts. Conspiracy to distribute narcotics. Money laundering. The sentence? 12 years in federal prison. I sat in the courtroom when they read the verdict. Watched her face crumble. Watched her mother sob. Watched her father just stare straight ahead, refusing to look at her. The judge asked if she had anything to say before sentencing. She stood up, shaking. "Your Honor, I made a terrible mistake. I was seduced by wealth and luxury. I betrayed my husband, my family, my values. I will live with this shame forever." The judge looked at her without sympathy. "You benefited from an organization that poisoned communities and destroyed lives. 12 years. Federal custody." The divorce was finalized while she was awaiting transfer to her prison. She had nothing to fight me with. No money for attorneys. No leverage. I got everything. The house, the savings, the business. She was left with a prison sentence and a criminal record. Her parents tried to blame me. Called me vindictive. Said I should have just divorced her quietly instead of ruining her life. I told them what I told everyone who asked: I didn't sell drugs. I didn't launder money. I didn't sleep with a criminal. She made every choice that led her to that prison cell. That was 2 years ago. Today, Marcus Castellano is in USP Florence, a supermax prison in Colorado. He'll never breathe free air again. He's 50 years old now. He'll die behind bars. All that wealth? Gone. Seized, auctioned, redistributed to victim funds. The man who was wealthier than I'd ever be owns nothing but an orange jumpsuit. Jessica is in FCI Danbury, a federal prison for women in Connecticut. She works in the prison laundry for 12 cents an hour. No more designer clothes. No more penthouses. No more private jets. Just a shared cell, prison food, and a decade more to go. Her parents cut her off financially. Too embarrassed by the whole thing. She has no friends. No support system. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she tried to reach out to Marcus. He won't respond. Can't afford to. He's facing life, and any association with her just adds to his problems. She's completely alone. A few months ago, I got another letter. Forwarded through my attorney. "David, I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I destroyed everything good in my life chasing something that wasn't even real. His wealth was blood money. All of it. And I was too blinded by greed to see it. You were always enough. More than enough. I hope one day you can forgive me." I didn't respond. There's nothing to say. She made her choices. She bragged about his wealth. Threw it in my face. Told me I wasn't good enough. Well, that wealth is gone. His freedom is gone. Her freedom is gone. Meanwhile, my business is thriving. After the case broke, I got offers from law enforcement agencies across the country. Consulting contracts worth hundreds of thousands. My revenue is up 60%. I'm making over $400,000 a year now. Ironically more than when she left me for someone wealthier. I took 6 months off after everything settled. Traveled. Went to Europe, Asia. Cleared my head. Started therapy to process the betrayal, the trauma of watching your marriage explode and your wife get arrested on national television. It helped. I'm dating again. Met someone wonderful. Sarah. She's a physician. Self-made. Values integrity and honesty. We've been together 9 months. It's healthy. Drama-free. Built on mutual respect, not luxury gifts and lies. I'm not rushing into marriage. Once was enough. But I'm happy. Genuinely happy. People ask me if I feel guilty. If I regret turning them in. The answer is simple, no. Marcus Castellano was poisoning communities. Fentanyl kills thousands of people every year. The cocaine he moved destroyed families. He wasn't a successful businessman. He was a parasite. And Jessica chose to be with him, chose to benefit from that blood money, chose to brag about it. They both earned their prison cells. I sleep perfectly fine at night. Here's what I learned from all of this. Character matters more than wealth. Integrity matters more than luxury. My ex-wife chased money and status and ended up in federal prison. I stayed true to my values, built a legitimate business, and I'm thriving. She said Marcus was wealthier than I'd ever be. She was right. I'll never have $127 million in drug money. I'll never own a private jet paid for with cocaine proceeds. I'll never give someone a $15,000 bracelet bought with blood money. And thank God for that. My wealth is clean. My conscience is clear. My business is built on hard work and ethics. And unlike Marcus's empire, mine won't be seized by federal agents and auctioned off to pay restitution. She gambled on the wrong kind of wealth. The kind that disappears the moment the DEA kicks down your door. I'm building the kind that lasts. The kind you can be proud of. The kind that doesn't require looking over your shoulder wondering if today's the day it all comes crashing down. If you're watching this and you're going through something similar, here's my advice. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Protect yourself legally. Document everything. And remember, living well isn't just the best revenge. It's the only revenge that matters. I could have just divorced her and moved on. But she was complicit in a criminal enterprise. She chose that. And now she's facing the consequences. I didn't put her in prison. She put herself there. I just helped the federal government prove it. So to answer the question everyone asks, do I miss her? No. I miss who I thought she was. But that person never existed. The woman I married was a fiction. The real Jessica was someone who valued money over loyalty, luxury over love, and status over integrity. That person is exactly where she belongs. And I'm exactly where I belong. Free. Successful. At peace. She lost everything chasing wealth. I kept everything by staying true to myself. This is David reminding you that not all that glitters is gold. Sometimes it's blood money. Sometimes it's a trap. Sometimes the person bragging about being wealthier than you is one DEA raid away from a federal prison cell. Choose your partners wisely. Choose integrity over image. And if someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. Stay strong, stay honest, and stay free. That's true wealth.